Today I wanted to do a recap of the Svartpilen 401. For those who are coming out of winter, it's getting into riding season, and I imagine also some people roundabout now are going to be looking for making a motorcycle purchase. So what do you need to know about the Svartpilen 401? Well, I've been riding my Svartpilen. It's a 2022 model for coming up on almost a year. And if you are a returning rider or a new rider, I can tell you that you will not be disappointed in this motorcycle. And I say that because the 373cc engine is really peppy. It's very nice, but the throttle's manageable, so yes, you have to be careful, but it's not like you're going to get into a bunch of trouble on this motorcycle. So you know, when you think about the range of throttle to get the desired result, really fun, really peppy. It's very flickable. It handles really well, and that's because it's a pretty lightweight bike. It's about 152 kilograms. That's about 335 pounds dry, which makes it a very light bike. So that's also good if you're a new or returning rider and you don't want to be wrangling a really heavy motorcycle. So that overall makes it a motorcycle that is, I think, really easy to handle. I'm only 5'6", and I weigh about 120 pounds. My inseam's about 31 inches. So I can't flat foot this motorcycle. It's 835 millimeters, or about 33 inches tall in the seat height. So the seat is on the higher side. Overall, the motorcycle itself is a little smaller motorcycle. It's lightweight, it's very flickable. Super fun. Super fun to ride around on. The seat height for me, if you're a shorter rider, is not too big of a deal, right? Just remember that you can't flat foot the motorcycle, and when you're coming up on stops, just get that left foot down to get a solid tripod to stabilize the bike, front tire, rear tire, and your left foot. Keep that right foot on the brake. It's just a good habit. Keeps the bike from rolling as well. Unless you're on a super steep incline, you might want to use the front brake as well to hold the bike in place, but I haven't had to do that very often. So it's very manageable in terms of seat height. You know, maybe the first week that I was riding as a brand new rider, I was getting used to it. It was a little awkward, but you get so used to it that I don't even think about it anymore. And I don't worry about balance or you know, dropping the bike or anything like that. You can manage it if you're on the shorter side. But that 835 millimeter seat height might intimidate some folks. You can lower it. I believe you can lower it to about 810 millimeters. You can take maybe, you know, inch and a half, 2 inches or something like that off of the motorcycle. I didn't bother with that because I don't mind it. I've gotten used to it, and the seat being you know, high up is actually a pretty good thing when you think about what this is primarily for, which is urban settings and riding around in cities. It's nice to be sitting up a little higher. This has a pretty upright rider position, so I have little or no pressure on my wrists. That's good. So, you know, feet back on the pegs, hugging the tank. I'm resting my hands on the handlebars. I'm not really doing anything extraordinary, right, in terms of weight distribution, and I don't really have to worry about you know, my wrists getting tired or putting too much weight, because it's just such a nice upright rider position. The seat height being on the high side also just gives you really good visibility, so I can see over most cars and I feel really comfortable in traffic. That combined with the fact that it is a peppy little motorcycle with 373 cc's, you get really good acceleration, and in addition to that, you can really maneuver this. Brakes are great. You know, I can't complain about the brakes. I've had to do some emergency stops. I'm sure that you'll have to do that. Please practice them. But I've not had any problems with the brakes. Everything performs really nicely. Love the headlight. The headlight looks really cool. You're only going to see it if you step off the bike and give it a look, but the headlight itself actually is a really nice looking headlight. So I actually really do like that. And here I'm going to just come over here. So the headlight is just a really nice looking headlight. Provides great visibility. That's what you really should care about. It does provide some really good visibility. And so if you're thinking about just kind of like the basics of the motorcycle, yeah, it does all those basic things pretty well. If you're thinking about other parts of your purchase decision, I would say this: it has Supermoto mode, so you can turn off the ABS, and that's pretty nice. So you've got the Supermoto mode. That's really for like off-roading, and it is a scrambler, so it can do some lightweight off-roading just fine. And if you're interested in having a lot of fun with this motorcycle, city streets, yes, absolutely, but you can also, like I said, do some light off-roading, and Supermoto mode will help you with that. That's why this bike has the knobby tires on it. But like I said, just a really fun motorcycle to ride around. It has adjustable suspension. It also has a quick shifter, so you can adjust the suspension. You've got an easy shift quick shifter, which is for clutchless shifting. So it's got a lot of features. I've said this before, I don't particularly like the quick shifter. Maybe it's just my motorcycle, but I don't find it to be very consistent or reliable to use. I prefer, even though it's technically slower, I do prefer manually shifting. I just like working the gears. It's a lot of fun. There are some things to dislike about this motorcycle too. So again, the seat height might be intimidating. If you're on the shorter side, like I said, it's not been a problem for me, and I've gotten pretty used to it, but something to be aware of. It has a small tank, but you know, go figure, it's a pretty small motorcycle, and if you had a bigger tank, you'd be adding a lot of weight, so you'd also lose some of that flickability and handling. But the tank is pretty small. I find myself gassing up every other time I ride. I think if you're going to buy one of these, another thing to be just very aware of is whether or not you're near a dealer, because parts can be hard to come by, and you're going to need to get the motorcycle service. So I plan on doing quite a bit of that service myself. However, in the instance that I need to do something complex, like adjust the valves or something like that, I'm not going to do that myself. So make sure that you are, you know, within a reasonable distance of somebody who can service your motorcycle.